So, we're looking at this right now. There is one first step from which you do not have a choice. Brandon, what's the first step?
You find the length of the squares.
I need to find the length of those sides first. That's the first thing I need to do, because all I have right now is a surface area that doesn't help me. So what were you thinking?
I use 7 times 7, which would be
It is 7 times 7, but how do you find that part? There's a step before that. Because right now all I know is the surface area of this whole thing is... So 294 divided by 6. There's 6 sides in my cube. They are all the same. 294 divided by 6 equals 49. So now I know the area of each square is 49 centimeters squared. That helps me a lot because we just spent, girls, I don't know how much time talking about the fact that if a square has an area of 49, that each side length is automatically what?
7.
Can I get one step before 7? Root 49. Because that's the relationship between squares, area, and the square root. From there, I know that root 49 equals 7. My side lengths are all 7. Now, if I know all my side lengths are 7, what were you thinking next?
the sides A and B to the triangle.
Okay, so AB is a 7.
Yeah.
And?
Use the 7, you need to find the middle of the H.
Okay, so let's use the actual segment names. AB is 7. What else do you know?
Oh, BF is 7.
BF is 7, sure. And I want to make clear, you could use BF, you could use AE, you could use BC or AD here. You could use any of those. And in fact, if it's me for the most part, I tend to use BC. Because I need to get from A to G. So I'm going to say this, but it wouldn't make a difference. Okay? So now that I know that AB is 7 and BC is also 7, and every other line that I have is 7, what line could I figure out if I know AB and BC? The hypotenuse, which is AC. So, what I'm going to do, so I'm just going to make everything a little bit smaller, and I'm going to kind of draw out what this square might look like. This is now ABCD, which is the bottom if I laid it out flat. I'm going to find AC. And I know that's 7 and that's 7. So the way I'm going to do that is h squared equals a squared plus b squared. H squared equals 7 squared plus 7 squared. H squared equals 49 plus 49. H squared equals 98, which means that h equals square root of 98. Okay, you can do it that way. Or some people are going to do it another way. Some people are going to do it where they draw the squares. Say this, it's 7 and 7, and they need to draw a square like that. They know that this square is going to equal that square plus that square. And this one here is going to be 49, 7 times 7. That's going to be 49, which means that's 98. If that square is 98, its side length is square root 98. Either way, we ended up at root 98 as the length of the line from A to C. So if I know my line from A to C is root 98, what other line do I know in that triangle? Go. G to C. G to C is also 7 because we figured that out with the original thing that Brandon did. So if that's 7 and that's root 98, I can actually draw this to figure out what I need. So I'm going to have a triangle that looks like this now. Can somebody give me my letters again? They weren't ABC, sorry, I'll go back. A, B, C. A, C, and G. Like this. So, hopefully this helps you visualize the things we figured out. What do I know in this triangle? Brandon again. A to C is root 98. That's what we just figured out. That's how long that line is. What's G to C? Go again. Root 49 or even friendlier? 7. Some people are going to use 7. Some people are going to use root 49 because root 49 makes it really easy later. Either way. 2 ways to solve it. One is using the h squared formula. The other is using the kind of drawing squares method. I'm going to draw squares this time. I'll do them both. Just so you can see the difference. So, if I'm drawing squares, this is going to help me. What's the area of this square? Has a side length of 7. Go. 49. What's the area of the other square that I know? Root 98 times root 98. This needs to be automatic. Go.
98.
98. So, 49 plus 98 is 147. So that's the area of the square I don't know. If that square has an area of 147, what's its side length? That should also be automatic. Go. Root 147. So to reiterate what's going on, the whole idea of right triangles is that if I have a right angle, a 90-degree angle, I know there's a relationship between this side and the other two sides. And that relationship is this. If I make a square off of the two shorter sides and add them up, they always equal the size of that last square. That's the relationship people need to understand, yeah? Yeah, it's fancy. So, make sense? The other way you would have figured this out is with a formula. H squared equals a squared plus b squared. H squared, I didn't know yet, equals 7 squared, which was this side here, the side length squared, plus root 98 squared. Now, h squared equals 49 plus, what is root 98 squared? 98, good, this is getting more automatic. H squared equals 147, which means that h equals the square root of 147. Done.